What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. Just realized you could barely see the pink in my hat because of this light. Damn. It's all good. How y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling? We got some good topics to go over this morning. We got the young thug case being dismissed. I want to play a recap of that. We got some footage to also listen to from his lawyer team, reacting to that motion even coming his way in the first place, right? And then I got like a little one pager of the paperwork that we're gonna bring up. We're gonna breeze through that. Pretty simple. What else do we got? We got Drake. So we know he caught a recent win in court as it relates to getting discovery items, things like execs payouts, Kendrick Lamar's possible contract, and all types of paperwork from discovery. That was a win for him in court. But there's some stuff that came out in the midst of that court proceeding that I think I overlooked the other day. And shout out to Inner City Press. I want to go down some of those tweets because he was in the building. Um, what else do we got? We got Adam22 stating that the No Jumper podcast is going broke. I wanted to do that last night, but I left it off the stream. We was already over an hour. I said, all right, let's get up out of here. But we'll do it this morning. And you see, I got a mystery man in the thumbnail. Okay. That's because I have a very, very important question to street niggas, to gang members, to people that are in the life of crime, right? I got a very, very important question for y'all. And I promise you, what I'm saying right now is not sarcastic. I literally do not have the answer to it. And I want to open up a discussion and I want to shed some light on something that I think is going to continue to be a question around many, many situations of the past, as well as many, many situations that are yet to come. Okay. Now, let me start a little slow. I feel like I owe y'all that from yesterday. Yesterday we had to rush. I had to start 30 minutes early. Some of y'all was like, the hell, why you live already at 5:30? I thought this show was 6 o'clock. ARP. My bad. So let me start a little bit slow. And in doing so, let me stay off topic for a moment, people, for people that, rock on just the streaming aspect. I'm thinking about doing something on the side as it relates to this podcast, and it would involve some of y'all. So once upon a time, I said I wanted to give the chat a name. And then I got some recommendations in one of the comments, and somebody, and I still want to give you your props for that. I forget your name, homie, but shout out to you. Somebody put like, I think checks and balances is dope. And I said, that's it, man. I have no problem giving credit where credit is due because it's fitting of what we do over here, checks and balances. And we're very, very fair down the middle, neutral type of channel. We try to call a spade as much as possible while applying logic and experience, right? But I don't need the chat to have a name. The chat is the chat. What I want to do is I want to create like a thread, right? Like let's say like a Instagram DM thread. I don't know if you can have multiple people in the same. Oh, you can, right? You can have more than one person in the same DM thread, right? What I want to create is a group of people that will be the checks and balances group, okay? And I want that group of people, me included, I'll be in that thread as well. We will be the folks that are exchanging the news, okay? I've gotten to that point. I know I've opened those floodgates here on the stream. And for everybody that's waiting to get to the topics, I'm always going to chapter every live stream that we do now. So don't worry. If you come on later on, you'll be able to just look at the chapters and skip this piece and get straight to Young Thug, which will be the first topic. Okay. chapters. I got y'all going forward. I promise. But yeah, we're at the point now where I open the floodgates and I said, yo, I appreciate everybody that sends me news shit. It started last year when just on Twitter, yo, ARP, cut the stream back on. Like Kendrick just dropped a response to Family Matters. Go look at the stream. That's literally what happened. I got back on the stream, damn near tired. I thought I was done for the night. I'm looking at my Twitter, ARP, it's up. Let's go. Let's work. I came on the stream. I didn't listen to it yet. And then Meet the Grams put me in a nightmarish type of mood. And I was just like, what the fuck y'all got me listening to? So it started even early, right? We've been doing that together, and I really, really rock with y'all for that. But now it's at a point where I got about, no exaggeration, like 30 people that consistently send me stuff every day, every day. And some of us do a very, very good job. Me, I work on this podcast every day, all day long. When I'm not on stream, I'm still researching. I'm still watching the scene. I'm still watching interviews. I'll come on stream with y'all and be like, yeah, that Trap Lord Raw shit that just dropped yesterday is 3 hours. I checked it out, y'all. I got to keep myself informed. But the way that our information is coming into the Sorry It's True podcast, I need to centralize it. I can't go through 30 DMs a day. It's not related to news. It's tough. And then some of it is so overlapping, right? Like of those 30 DMs per day, 10 of them could have the exact same thing. And it's like, oh, I could literally spend 15 minutes, which is priceless to me. Every minute of the day is priceless for a nigga like me. I'm telling y'all. And that 15 minutes of reading the same shit, it kills me. It adds up. Next thing you know, I spent 40 minutes looking at my DMs, looking at the same topic. And I think we can do a better job collectively if we all see the same thread. You get it? So I want to create the checks and balances as a news group now. I will be in it. I will be in that group talking with you every day. Shout out to the people that I still DM with individually. I'm not abandoning y'all. You know what I'm saying? If we done grew our own rapport and we talk or whatever, I'm staying right there. We cool. If we rock like that, we rock like that. But this chat, I want to be specifically for news. And it's like, yo, ARP, you saw this? And then I'll throw something in it. Yo, chat, what y'all think about this? Not chat. Well, checks and balances. Y'all see this one? This is crazy. We could fact check each other. We'll argue over things like that's fake. No, I know that. I put a lawyer or two in there, put some ladies in there, put some fellas in there, put hip hop specialists in there, put movie specialists in there. And I want to develop a thread of checks and balances. And I'm going to focus on that for the news stuff that we share. So if we are already DMing about stuff like that and you are interested in being in that group, shoot me a DM today or whenever you see the stream or whenever, and let me know, like, yo, if you start that group chat, let me know. ARP, I would like to be involved in that. And like I said, going forward, we will be in there. And you could leave the group if you want. You can hang out in the group. You could just watch. You could add stuff here and there. I'm not hiring anybody. This isn't a job. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going down that road. Once you start opening up that can of worms of contractors and employees and how I got to file taxes and all that type of shit, I'm saying it on this stream day one. I'm not hiring nobody. There's some people that want to get together in a chat and enjoy sharing of information and news that we normally podcast about. Okay, I want to make it clear. I'll fuck around and get sued behind the checks and balances Instagram chat 2 years from now. No way. Hell no. He said that shit day one. I'm not hiring and paying none of that. This is people that hang out and have a good time together. Okay. And I will be in there with you guys every day. Okay. All right. So that's me slowing down on a Friday. I haven't done this in a couple weeks. So it's just like normally I just try to be fast for y'all and get to the fucking topics. Is there anything else I could talk about before I get to the topics? Hitman Holla versus Miss Hustle. I guarantee. Damn, I can't really guarantee y'all. I even said this to Holla on the phone yesterday. I'm 90% going to be on stream tomorrow night after the event is over. He's got 4 dope battles going down. I want to see shit like Twerk versus Vixen. But the main event, oh yeah, he's got Suge versus E Hard on there. Yeah. And Hitman versus Hustle. The way they've been tweeting each other and talking shit to each other, and even I want someone fucking name. Hitman, when he called me on stream yesterday, if he was on the stream last night, you see, man, I saw this text that you sent me. I stopped in the middle of my rehearsing. He's in mode. You know what I'm saying? The only reason I told this to him, I'll say it to y'all. The only reason I will not cut on that stream Saturday night is if he gets 30, because that's my nigga. So I can't come on stream and be like, damn, I can't trash him. And I won't cut on the stream and lie to y'all and try to force a loss into a win. My way of doing that is staying my ass off a camera. But Hitman don't be getting 30. He's faced the best. You know what I'm saying? The best of the best. Twiz, what up, G? Oh, Twiz is a member now. What's good, homie? How you feeling, Twiz? It's good to see you a member now, but it wouldn't have mattered because normally I refer to people that are not members in the chat because I'm remembering a lot of names. I just say shout out to the chat if I even bring people up. But Twiz is one of the people that was not a member because I know him outside of the Sorry It's True podcast, before the Sorry It's True podcast. But for the most part, the members are the ones I remember the names of, and I always give them priority for coming up on screen, asking them, answering the questions and all that. So, I appreciate everybody in the chat though. So, yeah. So Saturday night, tomorrow night, um, should I do my first drunk stream ever? Because the weekends is my I'm a weekend warrior. So I might get up here, have a couple drinks poured. Damn, I wish I could do a watch party with y'all on some Mook and Luck shit and bootleg holla. uh I don't know. Maybe I'll pour some drinks up with y'all tomorrow night if um we're gonna do a long stream after the event is over. Yeah, we might do that tomorrow night. Doesn't mean we won't still be here tomorrow morning. We working. All right. Is that enough? Is that enough? What DMV doll say? DMV doll said drunk stream member only. Twiz says this live changed my life. I'm up every day, 6 a.m. now. My man. My man. You know what? You just gave me something to say before we jump because, like I said, I owe y'all taking my time from yesterday morning. I owe that to y'all. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna give back a full 30 minutes, but that's what's so dope. And as you see, I need to do things like create this checks and balances group chat, and it's it's the interaction is growing, and it's growing in a sense where I see the consistency of many people, the text messages, the DMs that I get. I can't make some of this stuff up. I always say names and I try to shout people out unless I'm exposing them and shit. Is it I am legend? Is it I am legend? Who is the young gentleman that was I've been DMing with lately? Is it Larry? And told me that I'm helping with his nephews even. Like they tune in and they get a great message and they've known me since RBE and it's like he like thanks me for like, the way we carry our energy over here. You know what I'm saying? Then you got people once again 6 a.m. They just like me. They up, they move in, a live show every morning, 6 a.m., Monday through Friday. Shit. Some of us is in the gym. Some of us is on the treadmill. Some of us is on our way to, the office. So we're building up that because people are learning like, oh, I got, a cool spot to hang out with a bunch of people at 6 a.m. in the morning. So we're carving out our niche and people are learning more and more about this. And I can't wait to see what this shit looks like 2-3 years from now, because this is brick by brick type shit. So thank you, Twiz. I appreciate you. Shout out to James. Holla, that's almost like Hallium in the NBA, right? Your last name almost. But appreciate you, James. New members in the building. Damn, I see so much members in the building, man. Y'all are here. I see my mods here. I see some of our ladies in the building. I told you on yesterday's stream, one of my homies DM'd me yesterday asking me if I had IG handles on some of the ladies that I brought up on screen. Ladies, y'all are getting watched. So put your best I can't say outfit, but put your best default pictures forward. The fellas is on y'all too. Remember when I was doing my stream with the Holla last week, I pulled one or two people up on screen to ask him a question or something, or wish him a happy birthday. He said, "Who's that? Who's that?" Ladies, y'all are so welcome here. This is such a safe place for the ladies. I love it. All right. Should we work now? Is it time to work? Did I make up a little bit for yesterday morning by talking shit? Okay, cool. Young Thug, probation case dismissed. Once again, I'm going to chapter all that for y'all, okay? 14 minutes without getting to the first topic. It will be chaptered. Young Thug's probation case. So we spoke about this yesterday as well. During the stream, somebody put in the chat, see, I realized how important y'all are, that it was tossed. So we got the update in the middle of the stream, but we were breaking down that, I didn't think that it was something that should stick, but it was stupid. And we went through all the motions why it was stupid. Watch it last night's stream if you want to catch up on that. Very stupid from Young Thug. But let's see the legal side of it on how he got to where he got, as well as some of his lawyer's response to the motion to try to get his probation violated in the first place.
Atlanta rapper Young Thug will not be heading to prison. A Fulton County judge ruled today he did not violate probation by retweeting a photo Channel 2's Michael Seiden spoke with the defense attorney, and he's live in DeKalb County, where, Michael, they're now calling this one a major win.
It is short and straight to the point. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Paige Reese Whitaker's order denying DA Fannie Willis's motion to revoke Atlanta rapper Young Thug's probation. While the court does not find that the cited social media post rises to the level of a violation of defendant's probation, she wrote, it may be prudent for defendant to exercise restraint regarding certain topics. Judge Whitaker's decision came just a day after the state accused the Grammy Award-winning hip-hop artist of violating his probation after he reposted a social media post that included a photo of an investigator with a caption that accused the investigator of being the biggest liar in the DA's office.
They haven't gotten over the fact that this case didn't go their way. They haven't gotten over the fact that this was a ridiculous case that should never have been brought, and they were embarrassed by the way it ended.
In the state's motion filed on Wednesday night, DA Willis claimed that the Atlanta native, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, engaged in conduct that directly threatens the safety of witnesses and prosecutors. Willis says after the post went viral, she began receiving threats. She also claimed that the investigator, who was a witness in the YSL case and currently a witness in another high-profile gang case, and the investigator's family are all getting threats too.
We certainly believe that his post was to threaten law enforcement, which is all part of gang activity.
It's difficult to put into words how ridiculous the state's motion is. It's really a rant described as a motion.
Yeah, and as soon as that decision came down, I did reach out to DA Fannie Willis's office for comment, but so far I haven't heard back. We're live in DeKalb County. Michael Seiden, Channel 2 Action News.
I have a recurring nightmare.
Well, there you have it. I mean, they pretty much, I didn't realize that they showed a screenshot of the paperwork in that video. So do we really need to go down this? We really don't need to. The state's response to defendant Jeffrey, April 1st. Skip down. Very simply, Georgia law does not entitle Williams to the extraordinary remedy, which is the violation of probation that they seek. Williams' motion must be denied. Like, there's not much else that we really need to read on this, So, we could scratch that this time going around. But I will say, in addition to what we said last night, to watch Fannie and watch the state, with that level of extreme measure, because I thought it was a couple months ago. They say it was like November or something like that, to go after his freedom in violation and just, get his backloaded years of that term started, which was like what, 20 years or something, whatever it was. That's wild. I mean, those people, they have their motivations, like Young Thug's legal, attorney said. This is like retribution that they're looking for. They fumbled the case. They invested so much time and energy into this shit. They felt like it didn't go their way. And anything that they're looking for, or any opportunities that they have, they want to take to the next level. They want to take extreme. And it shows me, or I shouldn't say it shows me, it reminds me of how dangerous it is. Also, when you agree to certain terms, right? At the end of the day, Young Thug and his lawyer agreed to those plea deal terms, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have accepted them and not wanted to do another fucking day. He sat down for like, 2 years? Not have to do another day behind bars. Get home to your friends, your family, get outside, get access back to your Twitter. I'm pretty sure a lot of us would have accepted those terms if we felt like, with the Brian Steeles of the world sitting next to us, like, this might be the best that we can do, or we can continue to take this shit to trial and see what happens, right? So a lot of people, I'm not mad at him for taking those terms, but it's a reminder that when you're in settlement, when you're in plea negotiations, when you set plea terms, these are the type of things that when somebody has a vendetta towards you, they will use. Like, if you ask me, let's say you sue me and you want to do a settlement, right? And you say in the settlement, you want me to never wear a hat that has a team on it that you don't like. I'm making some ridiculous shit up, right? And I say, all right, cool, I could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could do that. I know that you don't like the Baltimore Ravens. You know what I'm saying? I could do that. Now let's say Breast Cancer Awareness Month rolls around and I grab this hat because it's got pink in it. And I say, I want to wear this on today's stream to show my love and show support for breast cancer awareness. And you come back and you know that's why I did it. I promote like that. But you say, no. You breached your settlement by wearing that Baltimore Ravens hat. I don't care that the whole world knows that you did this because it's pink. I'm stating that you did that to taunt me because it's the Baltimore Ravens. Right? Now, as ridiculous as it is, you might got me because I signed it. I signed that in my plea agreement. I signed that in my settlement. And that's the reminder for me there. Like when I know somebody has such a vendetta or is so against me or so against y'all, right? Be careful the things that may get put on the table, because just because things are deemed over, okay, the case is over, I'm out, I'm walking off my probation, case is over, I settled. Those people still have a vendetta towards you. And they will use, like the Fannie Willis type of shit, they will go Fannie Willis mode and they will use that shit to still try to nip at your heels. That is such a big reminder to something like me and to y'all. Be careful what you agree to and be careful what you sign, because you might think that you're doing or you're tweeting or you're wearing something harmless, but the person with the vendetta will come after you on some bullshit and try to use the fact that you signed it against you. KK, what up? Appreciate the super. KK says the Judge Page Whitaker re-election fundraiser was hosted by Brian Steele. He was never going to prison by her decision. Yeah, we see that. But look, they even tried to put that into motion, right? They're calling her YSL Whitaker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because she seems to be, I don't even want to use the word lenient, because I think Brian Steele and Thug's, legal team, I think they did a good job. They was just finding the holes and exposing them and fighting, and they did their thing. You know what I'm saying? But that judge came in and seemed to be pretty fair. As fair as possible, way fairer than the previous. So, all right. So hopefully this is now wrapped up with Young Thug, and he stays off of his Twitter and anything that could get him jammed up for the next 15 years. Okay. Lesson learned. They will try to snatch your freedom, young man. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Everybody else could tweet. Even your lawyers could get on camera and say, this is a vendetta. This is bullshit. This is stupid. You, though, Young Thug, you don't do it. Let your lawyers talk. And anything that you need to get out about Fulton County, let your fucking lawyers do it. Okay. Please. All right. Should I go to Drake or should I go to No Jumper? Let's go to No Jumper next. Let's do the No Jumper. Adam 22 did a podcast episode stating that No Jumper is going broke. I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna do some breakdowns in between some of the stuff that he's saying, as far as like my feelings towards some of the points that he's making, and then I also want to talk about why this could be real or why this could be fake. All right, let's check it out. Let's see what Adam's on.
So there's something that I've been hiding from you guys. No Jumper is going broke. I know that might sound crazy. Between both of our YouTube channels last month, we got over 25 million views. We're doing well on Facebook and Snapchat. We employ quite a few of the hottest content creators on the West Coast, and we pump out an insane amount of content on a weekly basis. How could we be going broke? Well, let's start here. We expanded too much during COVID at just about the exact moment that our revenue streams all took a hit. We hired a whole bunch of editors and other employees, and we bought a huge office building that cost us almost $4 million, thinking that the growth that we were experiencing during the pandemic was going to continue. And unfortunately,
let's stop, because this is only a 7-minute video. So yeah, like I said, let's do some breakdowns. Let's do some reaction there. So expansion is always a good thing, right? The thing is being able to forecast longevity. Like there's a lot of people that make moves without looking in the future far enough, right? Like even certain investments. Okay. Like let's say I'm URL, right? Let's say I'm URL. When caffeine comes in and they start throwing money around, right? do I want to be as like an owner in URL or an associate or a partner in URL? Do I want to start, making all these new investments under the assumption that the caffeine spoken about funding, what's been publicly discussed and assumed, is to be the same thing 5-10 years from now, right? I don't think that was a longevity type of look if you know battle rap, right? And you were working alongside a sponsor like that. I could use a different example. It doesn't have to be caffeine. It could be like the mayor, right? The mayor guy that comes in and he finances some events here and there and throws a lot of money around to the point where we got even media, people like Three Letter Man doing podcasts and interviews saying like, yeah, he's the best treatment I've ever gotten. Red carpet, flew us in and put us in hotel rooms. Like, who does that? Like, what league owner knows battle rap and then budgets to fly in and put up in 5-star and feed and all of that? That type of overhead isn't sustainable in battle rap based on what battle rap normally generates, right? So anybody that knows battle rap and the market wouldn't do those things and add those type of things to their budget. But let's say the mayor, let's say he consistently worked with RBE for like 5 events in a row. And then I got to the point where I said, yo, this shit is gonna last forever. And then I started buying my own self homes and new cars and big investments in buildings like what Adam did or whatever. I'm really looking at the mayor like he's in a sustainable situation for the long run or the longer run. That's on me for a bad forecast. And I'm giving those examples from like battle rap, based on how they play out and the things that we know and the things that we see. Another one was the guy that did the Duel in the Desert with Ted Grizzle or whatever. He was flying rappers out just to host, overpaying everybody. The battle rappers was calling each other behind the scenes like, yo, this dumbass motherfucker, he's food. Get in touch with him right now. He's the guy that I think that Mr. Fab versus Arsenal. Everybody just put their hands in his pocket. Then he ends up doing interviews talking about I blew all my money. I'm fucked. I lost this. I lost that. Yeah, like it's we've seen instances of this a million times. And for Adam 22, it was the pandemic, right? Anything that shows you that it has some volatility within it, you shouldn't plan off of it. I think that that's insane. I don't think that that's business-like. Like the pandemic to me is something that I would look at and say, well, unless I think we on some Dawn of the Dead shit and it's over, Independence Day is upon us. We're not going to be sitting in here with closets full of tissue for the next 10 years behind COVID, are we? I don't think so. I'm hearing things, I'm reading news reports, they're coming out with these vaccines, whether you believe it or not. I don't want to get in any conspiracy theories, people, but you know what I'm saying? They got the Johnson & Johnson and all these different, the Pfizer and like stuff going on. I don't know. And this person, is not walking around with a mask and they fine. And I'm hearing that it's only for old people, but then again, I'm not sure it's common cold symptoms. Now you're trying to tell me that some of us have had COVID last year and we just didn't know it was COVID. You know what I'm saying? There's all this stuff going around, right? I wouldn't have, as a business, told myself what's being experienced in the content world while we're in this pandemic is something that I should have long-term investments based off of. Period. Right? And even the building, like sometimes you could also do too much. Like you said, he bought a building and everything like that, right? And then you look at somebody like Vlad, who to me is the king of interviewing media. It seems like, especially like on the hip hop space. I know he dabbles in other things, but like he's above No Jumper Pie. He's been doing it longer. His pay models and his formula of clips and then long episodes. Vlad is the innovator of a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? And No Jumpers of the world come around and they reformat and add different twists, and there's nothing new under the sun. It's what you do. It's what you do. So No Jumper obviously has made millions and millions and millions of dollars, coming into the content world and building up a great platform. But if you look at Vlad, it's just like, okay, give me some drums, some nice cameras, good microphone. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I need a $4 million building to do this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like my background is okay. It's not bad, right? I got my little I know I'm spending a lot of time on this because it's Friday. It's all good. We'll keep going. I got more to rant about. This is reaction, people. But what I got? I got my bed bricks. They like 1,000 a pop, 800 a pop. Some of these guys up here, not too expensive. I turn my fireplace on. You know what I'm saying? I like to stay warm. It's not a big deal. And there's other places that I could use. I'll let y'all in on a little secret. Me and Cassidy came close to doing a podcast. We even got to the point of drafting contracts. Okay. And we started talking about location. If we would have settled on a location, it probably would have been a spot like a studio, something that cost us maybe a couple $100 a month, right? Nice little setting, whatever. And then the rest of the overhead is me and Cassidy's gas money. You buy your equipment once if it's not already in the studio, right? What's the overhead though? And then you take somebody like my personality, and then you take a personality, somebody that flies off and gets in his bag a lot. That's Philly shit too. Look at that double. Like Cassidy, and imagine the contrast of our two personalities doing a podcast. You know, the amount of viewership that I think that we would garner versus our overhead, it would make sense, right? You don't need a big ass fucking $4 million building to do consistent content in. But like academics to me, this is the last point I'll make on this one right here. I'm trying not to cheap y'all on this one because to me, looking at this has so many elements: decision making, business making, strategizing, overhead. We're in an economy right now where the middle class is going away. This is important talk. It's either you got it or you don't type of situation. Like, this is what the economy is doing to us. You walk into the supermarket, some people don't look at the prices. Other people are just like, oh shit, apple costs $5 now. Eggs cost $20 now. You know what I'm saying? Like, the middle class from a financial point is going away. So you look at like academics, right? One of the top media platforms. He's amassed millions of dollars doing content over the years. His background, to me, I don't even like it. I don't think it's the most eye-appealing background. He doesn't care. It's like a black and bluish basement room or something. You know what I'm saying? It looks like it's messy at times or whatever. I got OCD. If there's not even uniformity on both sides of my fucking camera, my fucking brain will get rattled. You know what I'm saying? Academic shit looks like it just, I pick a room, cut the camera on, because it's really about him as a personality. And this is going to come back in a little bit too. It's really about him as a personality, him with his amount of consistency, and him just delivering good to great content based on the stuff that he's covering and within a certain niche pocket of people that are interested in those topics, right? Like, academics didn't have to go bells and whistles to make sure that when you peer into his background, it's the most attractive thing ever. Shit, he don't even take the big screen the way that I do. What was the last time you saw an academics video where he was taking up more real estate on the screen other than just the bottom corner of the screen? You see what I'm saying? Once again, $4 billion fucking project and building for what? We can keep going. Joe Budden's podcast, you know, apartment rental. We can just keep going. I couldn't live in that apartment. It's too small. Like, we see the behind the scenes shit. It's a nice little building, it looks like, but for them and for what that podcast generates, it's a nice little apartment. Probably don't cost anywhere near the type of overhead that hurts them. You know, all right. I just want to peer into that piece, because if we're going to break it down, we're going to break it down. Okay, let's keep going.
That did not happen. Our YouTube numbers, which had doubled or even tripled, gradually returned to normal. Our Snapchat and Facebook numbers, which had exploded during COVID, sometimes even hitting 6 figures a month, shrank by about 80% or more. Our Patreon, which was absolutely killing it for a year or two when we were doing uncensored, aka nude interviews with up-and-coming superstars like Kazumi and Sky Bree, fell off quite a bit with the launch of Plug Talk and a decreased interest in seeing us interview stars. In addition to that, you might recall that the channel took quite a hit when approximately 8 of our hosts left the platform in March.
Hold on. Before I get to the hosts, when he went back to his P stars, See, that's the thing about Adam 22 as well. See, Adam 20. That's why he talks gay stuff to his guests and all that type of stuff. He does porn as well, right? He's also in the porn industry, right? The genres and the content that he's mixing, I think it's tough to maintain a streamlined fan base over time with the way that he bounces around. Okay. Now, we got to look at examples that's out there to try to learn patterns and how people build towards success. I do it. It's part of being successful. Understanding, learning, studying the landscape, getting better. I do it too. Every person in this chat should do it in any field that they're trying to be successful in. So when I look at, like, let's say a Vlad, Vlad definitely caters to the hip hop industry, which, once again, from a music standpoint, is the biggest genre in the world. All right, like as a commodity. Okay, the hip hop world, and there's also past the hip hop world, you see other stuff get mixed in, like, let's say, mafia people and people that have been involved in crime and murder. But what runs parallel with hip hop? Crime, murder, gangsterism, street shit, right? Like all that still runs parallel within the hip hop culture. Those are elements of the hip hop culture still. So Vlad's guests, for the most part, are sitting within a market and a pocket that has fans that, like, oh, I understand what I'm getting over there. Okay. Me now, if I go to the No Jumper podcast, if one day it's about hip hop and battles, Kendrick and Drake, you know what I'm saying? And then another day, it's all about gang politics only, where it's just, you know, I got to follow this guy for extras for fucking the next 2 months and understand the stuff that he got going on. And I'm not interested in his music, or I'm not even interested in maybe the way he acts or whatever, but he becomes a focal point. The same way maybe you tried to do it, like, let's say, a Brick Baby, right? Okay. Maybe this could be some messy, interesting stuff to maybe some gang shit to go on, and from the outside look at, oh, who's beefing now, whatever. Okay, maybe some of that shit I'll click, you know, popcorn moment. Then I come over here a different week and it's the porn star shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, all right, like I don't consume content on the internet of listening to these dim-wit fucking porn stars to listen to them talk. If I'm ever watching a fucking porn star, she's on my screen. I'm either watching it by myself or I'm watching it with a lady. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not getting graphic. I'm not gonna do that to y'all. But right, like a lot of y'all, when y'all consume porn, it's for this reason over here. I don't consume porn if I'm just sitting at my kitchen table and I feel like cutting on my phone or watch something while I eat, and I want to watch a porn star's interview. That's not my lane of entertainment, but he's gonna mix that in, you know, and I think he juggles a lot. That's not necessarily good from a consistency of what your fans expect. Because when you look at your own metrics, you're like this. You don't even know what to gauge off of your viewership. You don't even know. Because this week it's this, next week it's this. You're switching over here. This host, this. Speaking of the host, let's get into the host now.
March of 2023. Although we've definitely largely recovered and managed to build up a very healthy roster of talent since then, that certainly took a toll on our business for a while as well. All that stuff hurt the business, but we were still solidly profitable. That is.
Speaking of the host, okay, the host to me is another crazy thing, right? Now, it's obvious what Adam goes for, right? Now, he brings in a lot of people that, for the most part, none of us would follow if it wasn't for the No Jumper podcast. I'm not trying to say that these people are forced on us, right? But you have to have people that can be interesting within the content that you're sustaining on the channel. What do I mean by that? If you're sustaining hip hop related content, if I'm tuning into the No Jumper podcast, I personally would like 4 extras to be able to talk to me about the Kendrick and Drake battle, right? I'd like him to be able to talk to me about hip hop shit, right? I don't want to come over there and the only thing that this co-host that you have can talk to me about is other street shit and that I don't care about anyway or follow anyway. Yeah, this battle rapper or this rapper over here. Well, I just watched this come home shit clip the other day. Or he spent the whole shit going at another gang member saying that he's a cheerleader behind the fucking slang word off the bat. Because that's the shit. Off the bat. I got a trademark. Anybody else is a cheerleader. I'm watching and I'm just like, what am I supposed to be entertained about this? I'm not trying to say every video is great content and is super entertaining, right? But that type of host can only deliver one type of thing. They don't have that. They can't talk about movies and music and the music industry and drama over here and gang shit over there and experience and women. And they like, I could never cut on a fucking video and talk to 4 extras or listen to 4 extras break down man-woman relationships. You could come here I've done it before. We can get into some man-woman shit and people be like, damn, I never looked at it like that before. Because I could talk about that shit. Y'all see me getting I did 1 or 2 like little sports shit. And y'all was like, yo, ARP, are you a mini sports announcer? What the fuck? I could go over there into sports. My primary is hip hop. And because I'm a sandbox guy, I could speak about it so passionately. And my references be all over the fucking place. But like, yo, why the fuck did he just know the lyrics to Self-Destruction? Does 4F, you see what I'm saying? And Adam 22, the host that you're picking, they don't even have that expansive capability. So when they don't have that expansive capability, when they're on your show, there's only one thing I can get. And if that's not my topic of what I'm choosing to go after, then like what's the point of that type of host? Unless you just want to dwell in gangsterism. And if that's the case, just make that decision. Get rid of the porn stars. Stop talking about fucking industry shit or whatever and dipping all over the place and just do that. Just be like, yo, it's about Loose Cannon, Brick Baby, Whack 100, 4 extras, and all we're doing is gangster shit, gang shit, fussy fighting shit. And there's a big pocket for that. There's still a lot of money there. All right. Well, just do blood and Crip shit all day. But the host it don't make no sense how he's approaching it to me. And there's no expansive capabilities of some of these hosts. They're so limited. But anyway.
Is until the last few months where we experienced 2 major L's that we never could have seen coming. First, we lost the No Jumper Instagram. After almost 10 years of building it up and essentially no strikes on our account, we got taken down one day and we still have absolutely no idea why. We've had no luck getting it back despite being in contact with what seems like every Instagram recovery guy on the face of the planet. We were bringing in a very solid amount of cash monthly that was keeping us afloat via selling sponsored posts on the account. And that mostly vanished overnight. And while we've been growing the new No Jumper LA account up ever since and managing to sell sponsored collab posts using my Instagram and the No Jumper LA account, DM or email if interested, we aren't making anywhere near as much from Instagram.
So I do respect that. But I would say, once again, me personally, like the way that I've always modeled any business that I'm involved in, there's certain things that you look at as extra, not necessarily your baseline of what you're going to do, your predictions, your analysis, or your regular base pay expectation on week to week, month to month, or even year to year, right? Your YouTube channel, typically, if you stay consistent with a certain level of content, your fan base is supposed to go like this, right? Unless I totally switch up what I'm doing and change who I am, right? My channel doesn't just go like this and then just drops down, right? It's just about how long it takes for whatever your goal of growth is. Whatever your goal is, 1 million subscribers, for example, does it take 10 years? Does it take 1 year? That's really what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Based on your consistency and you maintaining the same quality that are attracting followers, okay? So that to me is something that you can use as like a baseline. Okay, last year, my YouTube channel was making $1,000 a month. 2 years later, it's making $3,000 a month, right? That's a solid baseline to stay with, right? You're gonna have your spikes. You don't then baseline off of your spikes. This is money talk I'm doing here, people. This is business. You don't do your baselines off of your spikes, or because it's the pandemic. You do your baselines based on these consistent trends and sometimes even the lower points. You even budget like this, okay? Now, the Instagram shit comes on, and that's to be treated like a bonus, okay? Want to know why? Because you can't predict how many people is going to come to you that month and say, I want some paid promotion on your page. One person might come and say, yo, I want to give you $1,000 for this paid promotion. Cool. That's a spike. That's an addition. That's a bonus. That's not to be looked at as your core baseline of expectation. Now you might get your Instagram to a place where you say, I'm averaging $5,000 a month. That's dope, right? But it's not controlled by you, which is why me personally, when I do business, I leave that in the category of a variable. Okay. Business talk, people. I leave that in the category of a variable. Want to know why? Because I can't control it. You want to know what I can control? I can control me being here 6 a.m. every morning. I can control that. So based on that content, I could look at that baseline and say, this is my expectation. I can't control the other person going into his pocket and saying, okay, I want to give you $800 for this commercial if you put it on your pay. I can't control that. You know what I'm saying? Same thing as like the members, right? Now, if I'm not giving y'all any members exclusives, or if I'm not taking care of my members and giving my members perks or whatever, and everybody just says, all right, like there's really no need for me to, he don't even show the members, you know, extra love in the chat. He shows me the same amount of attention. He answers the questions for the regular chat more than he does the members. He pulls up the regular members and answers them. Why the fuck I can't even get my shits answered what's the point? Right? But I would never baseline my income based on the memberships because I can't control somebody outside of me. This is business 101 shit once again. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't get it. I'm stripping down a lot of this shit and I haven't even gotten to the point yet of if I even believe him. That's what's so fucking funny.
I am now. Side note, if you're a Meta rep, please DM me. I would love to speak to anyone who could help with this. And second, in addition to that, we have been hit with a bullshit lawsuit from a former employee. Now, essentially everything in this lawsuit is completely fictional, and every lawyer that I've spoken to about it has described this as basically an extortion attempt, but it still cost us a ton of money already, and it's expected to cost us many hundreds of thousands of dollars to see this through to completion. It's insane to me that a person that we did so much for can just invent some grievances out of thin air and cost us this much money as a result. This person has literally lost every single friend that he used to have when he worked at No Jumper. His streaming career has completely tanked, and he even got kicked off the podcast that he left No Jumper to start. But somehow that's our reality, and we have to fight this rather than just give in to this piece of shit. So as a result of all these circumstances, we are making some changes. Over the last few months, we laid off multiple employees in an attempt to reduce our expenses as much as possible. We closed down our store on Melrose, and we're in the early stages of selling our current warehouse and moving into a smaller space. To be honest,
so if he sold that, he said he closed down our store on Melrose. Like now, if this was bullshit, right? If he's closing down stuff, and that's, you know, you can literally see like liquidation type of moves and whatnot, then that is not to be overlooked. You know what I'm saying? As far as the firing of employees, that doesn't necessarily tell the tale with me and No Jumper either. Because like I broke down prior, using somebody like 4 Extras, who he sees certain values in, right? For some of the type of content that he does at times, right? Overall, I don't see a lot of people to me that are as beneficial, let's say, of like a Whack 100 or maybe even a Brick Baby, right? I don't see that consistently on No Jump. I see a lot of people that just get thrown in there, and I think he has a lot of people that he's brought through. And honestly, to keep it 1,000, you know what I think they've been brought on board for? Simply because they have the time. What do I mean by that? Adam 22 is one person. He can't be everywhere all the time. Meaning that if I have this studio or if I have this show, or actually both together, Nonfiction Radio did this before. Shout out to Nonfiction Radio. They was kind of like a brother to the UW Battle League, if y'all know what I'm talking about, right? If you ever been to their studio in Jersey, they had different shows, right? No different than No Jumper today. Nonfiction Studio was doing that 10 years ago, okay? This is nothing new under the sun. When you have 15 Minutes of Fame does this, right, as well. The main person when you think 15 Minutes of Fame is Uncle Ra. The main content that we see for the most part going up on our channels, Uncle Rod doing interviews or doing post-battle reaction, that type of stuff, right? But there's a mixing of other shows, right? So maybe you got a Swave 7 IP that comes on, let's say Tuesday at 9 o'clock, and they have their own show. And maybe Heavy Bags comes there and he does the engineering and the production and the camera work of that show. Uncle Rod probably doesn't even need to be there unless he wants to, right? So you expand to the point where I got this host that's working Tuesday night in the studio. I'm going to be there Tuesday morning in the studio, Tuesday afternoon. This person is there with their show. You see what I'm saying? So you're getting more content. And those hosts, one thing that they're providing you with is just more time to eat into the 24 hours per day that maybe you can't do as well. So that's definitely an expansion model. Okay. But these people that have these shows, they still need to be good. So once you start looking at some of these shows and it's just like they're not catching on, the views, I know I got you there just to produce content and that I could put more of these uploads onto the fucking channel. But if everybody's still ignoring the channel, and I'm not saying this is happening with no jumper, but if they're ignoring the channel until Adam 22 and Whack 100 comes on, then sooner or later you're going to look at these other views and these other shows and say that personality on his own is not carrying a show to the point where it's beneficial to pay him. You know what I'm saying? So you're not just firing people because, you know what I'm saying? I think that you try to expand and those people aren't holding up the job. You know what I'm saying? So you tried it. It didn't work. You gave them an opportunity. It didn't pan out. And now you have to go backwards on it. You know, so that some of that also comes with moving too fast, right? Like I'm normally here one time a day. Right. If next week I was here 5 times a day, that might be too fast, too soon. You get my point? You know, like you have to grow, whether it's a separate show or you as the primary host on the on the channel and on the platform. Your fans and your following and your supporters need to have the opportunity to grow with you. You know what I'm saying? One basketball on a court at a time, sometimes. You know what I mean? Versus back to back games with people that we don't know, we didn't develop with, and might not even be that talented. Okay. So, damn, I did not expect to get this much reaction out of a 7-minute video, but this is the Sorry Shoe podcast. This is what y'all get from me.
Honest, aside from the layoffs, which sucked, I'm pretty happy about a lot of these changes. I've realized that I should have paid more attention to DJ
I'm gonna let the
and
rest
kept my
rock.
overhead as low as possible, particularly in terms of staff and location. I'm confident that once we get the building sold, we'll be in a pretty solid financial position again as a business. Oh, and I also just want to note that I am talking about No Jumper as a business. I've got another business in the form of
Not me.
Plug Talk, and I've got a pretty decent investment portfolio on a personal level. I mean,
Not
shit,
me
I'm not $2
personally.
million in debt, and I never had to file for bankruptcy like T-Rel. But I honestly spend pretty much all of my time trying to create as much content as possible with No Jumper, and I can't really justify doing so unless the fundamentals of the business make sense. It was a big decision to share this stuff with you guys, but at a certain point, I realized that I've been honest with the world about just about everything in my life over the years, and it felt wrong to keep all this stuff that we've been dealing with in secret. So I know what you're thinking. What can you do to help? Well, I do have some ideas, which I'll sort into 3 categories here: free, cheap, and generous. Free. Obviously, I'm infinitely thankful to anyone who watches our content at all, follows us on the @NoJumperLA Instagram, and in particular, those of you who drop likes and comments on our videos and Instagram posts. In the long run, that stuff is super helpful. Cheap. We are really trying to get serious about embracing our members here on YouTube. For $5 a month, we've got a ton of awesome benefits, including being able to watch all of our interviews free of censorship and bleeped words before they're released.
Him getting into this whole ad and sponsorship and promotional piece, I'll leave it there. All right, let's get into this, and then I'll leave the No Jumper topic alone. I'm undecided if I even believe this. Okay, for one reason, Adam 22. I've said this a million times, and I wouldn't need to tell y'all for y'all to already see it yourselves. He's willing to do a lot for content. Okay. Even if it includes his own wife. Is that not like the biggest example anytime we describe Adam 22, right? He's willing to do a lot for content. We just watched Whack 100 over there, and I think that he's probably was involved in it. If the whole like Adam 22 got arrested by the feds, like they will do anything for content. And it's bugged out because right now you would think that Adam 22 knows that he's the center of a lot of talk, especially behind this loose cannon, Brick Baby, and Big U shit, you know. And then Whack 100 is still there, and his personality will talk for days upon days, you know what I'm saying, about anything, self-incriminating or not. So, you know, I think he's got a ton to talk about and a ton of content and a ton of attention right now. But still, he will create these narratives and he will say things that aren't true, I believe. I just don't put that past him. He hasn't given me any reason to say like he's not capable of just bullshitting us. Now, why would he bullshit us is the question. Okay. One of the reasons, probably the primary reason for me, because I don't think anybody has validated if that lawsuit that he mentioned is real. If it is, then it's something to look at. But if it is, it would further constitute the point that I'm about to make, which is Adam 22 is looking at the landscape. He's seeing all the stuff that's going on, even Diddy, for example, right? When you're the center of a lot of conversations, when you have the spotlight like that, when you get all this attention, it will scare you. It will scare you because you realize like you just feel more vulnerable. Like there's so much, and a lot of things could happen that aren't what I'm here for, that I would want to be involved in. Just like this, I'm watching it happen to all these people around me, and I'm a big discussion point. Why wouldn't it be able to happen to me? And I'm talking about even more lawsuits. Okay. So the type of people that he's bringing up there, all of these gangsters, all these gang members, all the stuff that's going on, all the family members that are being affected by some of these podcast episodes. That this person killed and spoken about over here? What if Nipsey Hussle's family takes issue with something? What if DW's family takes issue with something? What if some gang member's op or family member of an op that's not even in the streets takes issue with something? Like the way that the type of guest that he has and the type of content that he does, I think if I was in his shoes, I would be concerned that niggas would try to get on some Diddy type shit where it's just like, damn, look at all these civil suits all of a sudden. Because it's well known that his podcast, his company, and him are making multi-millions of dollars from this whole equation, right? So what do I want to do to circumvent that? I'm jump out there and say I'm broke. So let's not waste lawyer monies trying to get blood from a stone. I don't got it. That to me would make a lot of sense. And it's just ironically in the midst of a time where his platform is getting an increased amount of eyes with all this big U and Whack 100 and Brick Baby and Loose Cannon shit. His views are up and they're going to remain up for a minute. His money is up. So now when he's making more money than he was 2 months ago, like the timing of it just is fitting to say, wait. All the stuff that got us making more money is actually creating liabilities. And I can see the way they do people out here. Suing is the new job. Hey, everybody, I don't got any money. That's how I feel. Because him trying to act like he don't got no money, nobody believes that shit. And then on top of that, you got a smaller reason of just trying to trying to dumb down all the changes that you make. Right? If I'm firing this person, I'm laying this person off, I'm chopping this show, I'm doing this or whatever, because he's been through that before. He got backlash even when like Lush was let go and violated before, right? Or the battle rap community, which is a smaller community, a smaller voice, but we stood up for Lush, right? I remember that. That was an outcry, right? Like you can get backlash even from firing certain people, but it's like he's getting in front of even some of that. It's just like, I got all this stuff going on around me. I don't want these cases. I don't want all this extra liability. I don't want people to look at me and predict that all these hosts that you see today are going to hang around. I don't want them people to think that they're going to hang around neither. Like we're downsizing. I'm being sued. I bought this building I shouldn't have bought. The view's down. We lost our Instagram. I'm still making millions of dollars, but you see what I'm saying? So I believe that he's got some issues, more money, more problems. But I think that he's using that opportunity to move within his issues tactically for now as well as possibly later. Okay. That's my breakdown of is no jumping Adam 22 going broke based on what he said. All right, let's do this will be the shortest of the three, and then I'll get into the mystery person on the thumbnail real quick to ask this question that I said I need an answer to. Say Drake. I'm not going to say the rest. I don't want to get sued. Ain't no Drake suing me, man. Who am I? All right, so getting back to Inner City Press, shout out to them once again, because just to remind y'all, there's a lot of these court cases where we're not going to get visuals, cameras aren't allowed in the court, and we got people like Inner City Press that go into these cases, go into these courtrooms. They document it for us. They tweet about it. They let us know. We followed him during K Flocks updates, right? So the Drake shit that, with his win that he got recently of the discovery not being stayed by UMG, there was some other stuff in here that was very interesting as well. So let's read down some of these tweets, and I'm going to pause when we get to the part that interested me the most. Okay, head into the Drake and UMG case about Kendrick Lamar diss track. Not like us. Will Judge Vargas grant UMG's motion to stay discovery? All right, so let's go down this thread. The lawyers are in place. 3 for Drake, front table, 3 for UMG. All right, so there was both 3 lawyers deep. Okay. All rise. Judge Vargas, I have pending motion to stay discovery. Mr. Ransom, it's your motion. Ransom of Sidley for UMG. So when we see Ransom, that's going to be UMG's lawyer. There has been a change. Plaintiff has essentially withdrawn his first complaint, saying there'll be a second one, so no discovery. That's a catch right there. There has been a change. Plaintiff, which is Drake's side, has essentially withdrawn his first complaint. A complaint is what you sue somebody over. If I say somebody hit my car and then they slapped me, right? That's 2 complaints. The car damages and the second one being like the assault, right? Like, and then it could be another complaint. I've lost weight. You know what I'm saying? So there was an initial complaint that Drake put out that they have withdrawn. Okay. But they're saying there'll be a second one. So no discovery on that particular one. Judge, I don't generally stay discovery. Why should I? Ask the question. Ransom, who is UMG's lawyer, says that Drake is amending speaks to the merits of our motion to dismiss. This song came out in May 2024. He didn't file until January 2025. There is no urgency. I like that. Obviously, the judge didn't go for that, but I do like that because, I can see on Drake's side as well. They could say that the momentum continued to build up. That's going to lead me into the bot shit in a second. Give me a second, folks. The momentum continued to build up. The Grammys came. The halftime show game came. You can actually stand on the side and say that the halftime show was the peak, right? So Drake's side still has an answer to that, if you ask me. But they're saying he's amending, but being that the song came out in May 2024, right? But he didn't file till January 2025. So there is no urgency. No, actually, no, I'm on Drake's side with that. Actually, there is. Because like we said, like Super Bowl's in February. So, he could have said, we started hearing, about the Super Bowl coming and everything. Then we filed, right? So actually, I think that's not a win there for Mr. Ransom. All right. It's your burden. All right. It's on you. UMG's Ransom says they could have filed their amended complaint weeks ago. We would be burdened. They seek every document showing marketing for Kendrick Lamar. Confirmation, right? It was just said in court. Every document showing marketing for Kendrick Lamar. That's extraordinary. They seek compensation at Interscope. Ooh. They want. Oh, no, that could be the paperwork. I was about to say, they're asking Interscope to pay them some money. No, that could be the paperwork. They seek compensation at Interscope. Yeah, I believe so. Not from. It says at, not from. Okay. UMG's lawyer, defamation cases are different. There's the First Amendment. Discovery should be stayed. Judge Mr. Gottlieb. Sounds like that's Drake's lawyer. Okay, yeah, Drake's Gottlieb. The test is if the defendant has shown the complaint is unmeritorious, facially, without merit. Okay, Drake's lawyer, the motion to dismiss in this case is entirely an attack on the factual allegations in the complaint. UMG says no listener would believe the allegations in the song. So there are factual disputes. So discovery should not be stayed. Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Drake's lawyer then says They have sent us Rule 11, letter about only 5 paragraphs of our lengthy complaint about the use of streaming farms. We have exchanged letters. We intend to withdraw those, but it's a tiny portion of our complaint. That is one of the things that I feel is that needs to be discussed. That needs to be discussed. They have sent us Rule 11 letter about only 5 paragraphs of our lengthy complaint about the use of streaming farms. We have exchanged letters. We intend to withdraw those, but it's a tiny portion of our complaint. So Drake is no longer after the bot shit, the streaming farm shit, the enhanced number shit, right? And I hate to come at you over the Drake gang, because I don't claim a gang in this shit, period. I'm neutral. Claim hip hop. But the people that feel the need to go Drake mode, right? Or Kendrick mode, but I'm gonna talk to the Drake folks right now. If you have that need, all these arguments that you ran with about UMG inflating the numbers, and that's why we're really here. It's not about Kendrick. It's not about Not Like Us. No, at this point, it's only about Not Like Us. The botting shit is out. Drake's lawyer just said, we have exchanged letters. We intend to withdraw those. But it's a tiny piece of this. Maybe it's a tiny piece of why you think you're going to prove your complaint or your case. But it's not a tiny piece as far as the fans' perception of why we got here in the first place. Because the Drake backing and the Drake argument, that was one of your fights. You're not supposed to use bots or streaming. We want real numbers, and that's the reason why the song was playing in everybody's car and on. You're withdrawing it, right? So no more of that argument, people. That is off the table. This is really only about the battle rap song harming you. The level of loss and pain that has been inflicted upon you from the song Not Like Us, which was in the midst of your feud. Don't talk to me about numbers no more. Nobody. They're withdrawing it. Drake's lawyer. Their motion cites previous songs, so we intend to amend to address those. And the Super Bowl halftime show. Let's stop right there just on that sentence. People, does the first part of that say that they're going to be adding more songs to this along with Not Like Us? How else am I supposed to interpret that? Their motion cites previous songs, so we intend to amend. What is amend? Is to add. To amend and address those. I would love to see fucking Meet the Grams come into this paperwork somehow. I would love to read that. And the Super Bowl. So there you have it. We had the question, will he go after the Super Bowl? Will he bring the Super Bowl into it some way, somehow? There's your answer. Okay. There's your answer. All right. And the Super Bowl, it's going to be amended. It was more defamation. They continued to promote the song after they'd been informed about the harm. That right there also continues to expose that Drake and their team was reaching out to people asking for, could have been in the form of a cease and desist, but that to me, like 95% confirms like there was communication to the Super Bowl. This song is harmful for us. We're in litigation right now with UMG. NFL, please don't allow this. And it seems that the NFL said, fuck all that. Green light. We need this. Is what we're doing. And then Kendrick even moved that into his performance, teasing it. And then I'm slipping, I'm sliding like, whoa. Mustard on the beat, ho, deep, bo. Any rap nigga, he a freak though. Right? Inner City Press has some bombshell tweets, whether we knew it or not. Drake's lawyer, my friend claims our requests are overbroad, but it's no different than any other corporate institutional defendant. An NFL case had 40 defendants. Here it's single defendant request, generally limited to 1 year. Drake's lawyer, we'd agree to the court standard protective order. Defamation cases have an actual malice standard, and we far more than met that. But there's no separate discovery rule in defamation cases. They are not a newspaper. They sell music. Judge, you say there are 16 requests for production pending. Any third-party discovery? Drake's lawyer, we've served 3 third-party subpoenas, and we are trying to serve a 4th. They will go forward is discovery is not stayed. If discovery is not stayed. So we heard about the iHeartRadio stuff being closed out, right? But there's 3 companies that have been subpoenaed, and there's a 4th coming. This is going away. Drake's team got their foot to the pedal. I mean, if you're going to open this up, you might as well go all the way anyway, right? So they got their foot to the pedal. A 4th, we don't even know who that is yet. We don't even know who the other 3 third-party subpoenas are. Wow. Drake's lawyer, we intend to depose a number of people. You propose fact discovery closing in October. Drake's lawyer, it's fast, but we are facing harm and want to move forward. So they're like, yo, man, even though October feels like right around the corner as far as all the stuff we got to do, depositions, procedures, follow-up, discovery, yada, yada, yada. We still want to move fast right now because we're still being hurt. Numbers is being hurt. Drake's being hurt. He's canceling tour dates. Fans is on his ass. Kendrick's still moving. Hell no, man. We need to get this shit wrapped the fuck up. So I'm gonna leave that there. I think that was the last one that I felt like was worthy of us having eyes on. Serious shit going on. All right, let's move to this. This is the mystery man in the thumb. It's just about a topic that I want to ask y'all. I really want to leave this there with y'all. This is no sarcasm, people. I really want the answer. I want to talk about plea deals. Okay. I want to ask the chat or anybody that watches this stream, drop me a comment here in this video. Some of them I might even respond to in the YouTube comments. I want to know if accepting a plea deal ahead of other people that may be under investigation, are under investigation, are in the midst of cases, or even if they're not, if that is still to be considered snitching. This is a real question. I don't have an answer to this for myself. This is a real question. For example, I think one of the biggest things that we've seen that people took note of and criticized was Gunna, right? So when Gunna got up there and they asked him, is YSL a gang? Yes, ma'am. Who had this? Who did this? Blah, blah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yeah. Right? And the whole world said that's snitching because Young Thug is over here saying YSL is a record company and all we do is music and we don't harm nobody. We for love and peace, like his tweet the other day. And Gunna's here saying, no, it's a gang. And they're building a RICO based on this shit. And Gunna was released based on all of that shit, right? And what did y'all call Gunna? A snitch. Now, when you talk about a plea deal that you accept, if I'm a blood, right? And I got these other blood members over here that I run with, right? And it's known that I run with them. We're already on videos together. We already did music together. We already put in work together, whatever. It's known that we run together, right? If I get grabbed and in my plea deal, I'm admitting guilt to being a blood member, running within groups of people to commit robberies and whatnot, am I incriminating those people? What does the mafia accept any of their members taking plea deals? I want to go back and do a little bit more research on that. Did the mafia approve? I'm not saying that nobody ever did. You know what I'm saying? There's turncoats and all types of people that break rules all over the place, right? But did they disapprove of people taking plea deals because that, in effect, indirectly incriminates or says that these other people are doing something as well, like what Gunna did, right? So can I take a plea deal without being labeled a snitch unless my shit has zero incrimination it on other people, whether they get brought up on charges or not? That is my question. That is my question. Do you have a problem with your codees or the people that you run with doing criminal activity taking plea agreements? Even I don't want to use that example. It's touchy. It's touchy. It's touchy. Boom tried to use that once at one point. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect. But you know, like when the paperwork came out, of course, it was just like, no, there's stuff in the paperwork that is 1000% why people are going to put a certain label on you, right? But before, well, as things were unraveling, and you know, he did an interview, and he said, I took my plea. It ain't my fault that this other guy took it to trial and got smoked. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know that case like that. But if you take a plea and the other person goes to trial and gets smoked, wouldn't the DA use in that now second trial with this other defendant that your co-D pled out guilty to a scenario that y'all are both charged for, i.e. like a robbery? So if you're still fighting, you're like, yo, I'm taking this shit to the end. I'm claiming not guilty. But your co-D that was in the room with you pled out guilty. Did he snitch on you by doing that? Right? I'm about to stop here. Right? I'm about to stop there. Leave it the fuck alone. All right. Drop me a comment. Let me know how y'all feel about the checks and balances. Hit me on DM if we already talking and you want to be in that group. We will follow up. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Friday. We'll see if we make it back this afternoon. Worst case scenario, you know we'll be back here tomorrow morning. Enjoy y'all day. All right, y'all. Sorry, it's true.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry It's True podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.